Welcome back to Mystical Musings Podcast. I am so excited for our chat today. We've got Becca L Heart, a tarot expert and the brilliant mind behind the blog Mystical Musings. You recently did a fascinating blog post about the full moon in Cancer, happening on January 13th. And I know our listeners are dying to hear what this means for them.
Hi there, thanks for having me. I'm excited to dive into this with you and our listeners.
This is the first full moon of 2025, and it's in Cancer,
Yeah.
the sign of home, family, emotions. What does that combination tell us before we even get into the individual signs?
It's all about feeling things deeply. Full moons are always times of culmination, of things coming to a head. And with Cancer, that means our emotional world is going to be front and center. We might feel more sensitive, more nostalgic, more drawn to our families, even if that's complicated.
So, buckle up, listeners. It's going to be an emotional ride.
But that doesn't have to be a bad thing. I mean, Cancer energy is also about nurturing, creating a sense of safety and belonging.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Think of it like this: the full moon is shining a light on our emotional foundations. It's showing us where we need to build more support, where we might need to set some boundaries, and where we can really lean into those comforting, soul nourishing connections.
Okay, I love that. Now, in your blog post, you've got tarot insights for each zodiac sign based on this full moon energy. Should we jump into those?
Let's do it.
All right, starting with Aries, what card did you pull for them? And what does it tell us about how this full moon is going to play out in their lives?
For Aries, it's the Chariot. Now, that might seem a bit counterintuitive at first because the Chariot is all about outward action, conquering obstacles, and moving forward with force.
Which isn't exactly what we think of with the emotional inward energy of Cancer, right?
But here's where it gets interesting. This full moon is calling for Aries to direct that Chariot energy inwards. Instead of charging ahead in the external world, they need to focus on mastering their emotional landscape. This can mean confronting difficult feelings, setting boundaries in relationships, or simply making time for self-care.
So, it's not about becoming passive, but about channeling their fiery energy in a different direction.
Exactly. Think of it like this: an Aries warrior pausing in the heat of battle to tend to a wound. It's strategic, it's self-care, and ultimately it leads to a stronger, more grounded version of themselves.
That is such a powerful image. Okay, listeners, if you're an Aries, does this resonate with you? Have you been feeling a pull towards introspection lately? Let us know. All right, moving on to Taurus. What did you pull for them?
For Taurus, it's the Three of Cups. This card is all about celebration, connection, and enjoying the good things in life with loved ones.
Taurus loves good food, good company, and it says security and comfort. So, this card seems to fit right in with those Taurian vibes.
It does. But there's a deeper message here too. This full moon is encouraging Taurians to not just seek comfort in familiar routines and material things, but to really nurture their relationships. It's time to open up emotionally, deepen those bonds, and celebrate the joy of connection.
So, Taurus, throw a dinner party, gather your friends, and let those heartfelt conversations flow. What about Gemini? What card popped up for them?
For Gemini, it's the Eight of Pentacles. Now, this card is often associated with hard work, skill development, and focusing on the details.
So, bit different from that celebratory Taurus energy.
Definitely. But remember, this full moon is about security, and for Gemini, that often comes from feeling mentally stimulated and competent. The Eight of Pentacles is reminding them to focus on their skills, maybe learn something new, or even just organize their thoughts and ideas.
Okay. So, it's not necessarily about grinding away at work, but about finding security and comfort in their own mental agility.
Precisely. This could be a great time for Gemini to pick up a new hobby, start a journaling practice, or dive into a fascinating book. Anything that allows them to flex those mental muscles.
Now, before we move on to Cancer, I want to remind our listeners that you have tons of incredible resources on your website, mysticalmusetarot.com. They can also find you on YouTube at Mystical Muse Tarot and dive deeper into your blog, Mystical Musings.
For more tarot wisdom and for those who want a more personalized experience, I'm offering personal readings. Use the code FIRST10 for 10% off your first reading. This offer is for the first 10 listeners who book.
Wow. Don't miss out on that incredible offer. Now let's get back to our Zodiac deep dive. This full moon is in Cancer, so I imagine it's a pretty big deal for them. What card did you pull for them?
For Cancer, it's the Moon card. Talk about fitting, right? This card is all about intuition, emotions, and the subconscious mind.
The Moon card for the full moon in Cancer. That sounds intense. What should our Cancer listeners expect?
It can be, but intense doesn't have to be negative. This is a powerful time for Cancers to connect with their deepest selves. They might experience a surge of emotions, vivid dreams, or even a feeling of being extra sensitive to the energies around them.
So, it's a time to embrace those feelings. Maybe journal, meditate, spend some time in nature.
Exactly. The key here is to not resist those emotions, but to lean into them. See what they're trying to tell you. The Moon card is also about intuition. So this is a great time for Cancer to trust their gut instincts.
Okay, Cancers, get ready for a deep dive into your inner world. What about Leo? What's on the horizon for them during this full moon?
For Leo, it's the Four of Wands. This card speaks to celebration, harmony, community, and feeling a sense of belonging.
Interesting. So, even though the overall energy of this full moon is pretty inward focused, Leos are being called outwards in a way.
Yes. The Four of Wands suggests that Leos might find a sense of emotional security and grounding through their connections with others. This could be a time to gather with friends and family, celebrate a milestone, or even just enjoy the simple pleasures of being surrounded by loved ones.
So, it's not about being the center of attention, but about finding joy and support in the warmth of community.
Exactly. Now, for Virgo, we have the Five of Swords.
Ooh, that's a bit of a shift from the celebratory Four of Wands. What's going on there?
The Five of Swords often represents conflict, disagreements, or feeling like you've lost a battle.
So, not exactly the cozy, nurturing vibes we associate with Cancer.
Not on the surface. But remember, this full moon is illuminating our emotional foundations. For Virgo, that might mean acknowledging some difficult truths about a relationship or situation that's no longer serving them.
So, it's a time for some honest self-reflection, maybe having some tough conversations.
It could be, but the key with the Five of Swords is to remember that even in the midst of conflict, there's always an opportunity for growth. This full moon might bring up some challenges for Virgo, but it's also a chance to set boundaries, clear the air, and ultimately create a more authentic and fulfilling life.
Okay, Virgos, lean into those tough conversations and trust that you'll come out stronger on the other side. What about Libra? What did you pull for them?
For Libra, it's the King of Pentacles. This card is all about stability, abundance, and mastering the material world.
Libra is ruled by Venus, the planet of love and beauty. So, I wouldn't necessarily associate them with material wealth.
You're right, but remember, security can manifest in many forms. For Libra, this full moon might be about finding balance and stability in their finances, their home environment, or even their own sense of self-worth.
So, it's about creating that solid foundation that allows them to thrive in all areas of their lives.
Exactly. Now, for Scorpio, we have the Tower.
Ooh, the Tower. That's a big one. This full moon is getting more and more intense.
It is. The Tower card represents sudden change, upheaval, and a breaking down of old structures.
So, not exactly what Scorpios who love control want to hear, right?
Probably not, but here's the thing. Sometimes we need those shake-ups to break free from patterns and situations that are no longer serving us. This full moon might bring some unexpected events for Scorpio, but it's ultimately about clearing the way for something new and better to emerge.
Okay, Scorpios, buckle up. Change is coming whether you're ready or not. What about Sagittarius? What card came up for them?
For Sagittarius, we have the Seven of Cups. This card is all about imagination, possibilities, and getting lost in a world of dreams.
That sounds very Sagittarian. Always dreaming big, seeking adventure.
It does, but this full moon is asking Sagittarius to go a little deeper than just daydreams. The Seven of Cups can also represent illusions or getting caught up in fantasies that aren't rooted in realities.
So, it's a time for Sagittarius to check in with themselves and make sure their dreams are aligned with their true desires and values.
Exactly. This full moon is an opportunity for Sagittarius to distinguish between fleeting fantasies and the dreams that truly speak to their soul.
Okay, Sagittarians. Time for some honest self-reflection. What about Capricorn? What did you pull for them during this full moon?
For Capricorn, it's justice. This card is all about fairness, balance, and in taking responsibility for your actions.
Capricorn is very much about hard work, discipline, and achieving goals. Does justice fit into that energy?
It absolutely does. This full moon might be a time for Capricorns to reflect on whether their actions are aligned with their values. Are they being fair in their dealings with others? Are they taking responsibility for their choices?
So, it's not just about achieving success, but about doing so with integrity and a sense of justice.
Exactly. This full moon is calling for Capricorn to be honest with themselves, make amends if needed, and create a life that feels truly balanced and aligned.
Okay, Capricorns, time to step up and own your choices. What about Aquarius? What does this full moon have in store for them?
For Aquarius, it's the Queen of Swords. This card represents clear thinking, independence, and speaking your truth.
Aquarius is already known for being independent and unconventional, so this seems like a perfect fit.
It does, but this full moon is amplifying that energy. The Queen of Swords is encouraging Aquarius to really own their individuality, speak their mind, and not be afraid to stand out from the crowd.
So it's about embracing those unique Aquarian qualities and letting their voice be heard.
Absolutely. This full moon is a powerful time for Aquarius to set clear boundaries, communicate their needs assertively, and pursue their goals with unwavering determination.
Okay, Aquarians, time to shine your light brightly. What about our last sign? Pisces, what did you pull for them?
For Pisces, we have the Six of Wands. This card is all about victory, success, and achieving your goals.
That's interesting. Pisces is often seen as the dreamer of the zodiac, not necessarily the achiever.
True, but the Six of Wands is reminding us that Pisces is capable of achieving great things when they set their mind to it. This full moon might bring a boost of confidence and motivation for Pisces, helping them to take those dreams and turn them into reality.
Okay, so it's about channeling that Piscean imagination into tangible results.
Exactly. This is a time for Pisces to believe in themselves, step into their power, and celebrate their accomplishments.
Okay, Pisces, get ready to make those dreams a reality. This has been so insightful. Becca, thank you so much for sharing your expertise and for breaking down how this full moon in Cancer is going to affect each zodiac sign.
It's been my pleasure.
And listeners, if you're feeling called to dive deeper and explore the messages of the tarot, don't forget that Becca is offering personal readings. You can find all the details on her website.
And don't forget to use the code FIRST10 for a discount on your first reading.
Yes, definitely take advantage of that. Becca, thank you again for joining us today. It's been a fascinating conversation.
Thanks for having me as always. I love talking with you.
And to all of our listeners, thank you for tuning in to the Mystical Musings Podcast. Remember, this full moon in Cancer is a powerful time for connecting with our emotions, nurturing ourselves and our loved ones, and creating a sense of security and belonging. Embrace this energy, trust your intuition, and use this time for growth and self-discovery. We'll see you next time.